You know, again, he didn't prove that. Trump didn't prove that. He didn't prove that that it was stolen, and and he went and telling, telling those followers that, and he started like them, saying all kinds of crazy stuff, I'm not saying that what Trump's saying is wrong, because I don't really know if it was stolen or not. But what I do know that is that he didn't prove in the courts. The court say, hey, we doesn't see, we did the recount thing and we doesn't see that it was stolen. And I can only go with that, because, and that there was nothing, it didn't change anything. It didn't change for Biden being president. Like, it didn't change that, and stuff like that. So, but I think that him and his followers went on a tirade. I think he just didn't, couldn't accept that he lost, like that. It was over, like, and I think, him and his followers went on a tirade, like, and in the midst of all this, people are still dying, and, catching the coronavirus, this, that, and the other, and all this sort of stuff. Like that. And I don't know, like, and then the January 6th starts. And I knew that it was just a feeling that I had. Something's gonna go wrong with this shit, man. And it did. Yeah, and January 6th proved it. Like, not only he was saying it was stolen, this, that, and the other, and all this sort of stuff. You can tell the anger and all that shit is out in the air. And then the January 6th thing happened. And while in the midst of all this, the coronavirus is still kicking ass. Like that. And they went up, and they went in that building, and all the stuff that was going on outside of the building. Well, let's just say this: Donald Trump threw a press conference outside, not too far away from the Capitol building. Him and his followers are, he's sitting there talking with them, and this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden, he said he knows that they are in the building, in the Capitol building, doing business in there. Donald Trump knows this. He knows that they over there doing January 6th because they was doing, he was trying to see was the people in charge of the accounting thing, and see if they was going to overturn the election based on him saying that it was stolen or whatever, and this, that, and they did not believe in what Trump was saying in January at the Capitol building. Because there was like some people in there that had power to look at the election and this and that and all this sort of stuff, and they did not agree with Trump and stuff like that. And so he's over there in not too far away from the Capitol building, talking with those followers of his. And you know, and then he tells them on video, because I hear him say, come on, let's go over to the Capitol building, like they was gonna like stand outside or something, and tell them how you feel or whatever. And they gets over there and starts shit. And police is out there trying to control the crowd and all this whole stuff. Then I see video of what happened in the Capitol building. They had cameras everywhere in the Capitol building when they went up in there. When they went up in the Capitol building. In the Capitol building, they got cameras everywhere. And I remember seeing Nancy Pelosi. She was in there, and she had an interview, and she showed us that they tore down the door. She said they came banging on the door. They knew that the Trump followers was in the building, and they ran in a room and shut the door. And they start banging on the door and damaged the damn door. And they said they ran under the table with their cell phones calling people to tell people that they're in the building. They're in the building. Terrorizing and shit like that, and running up here and there and shit. You should see it. And they were running all in the building, doing all kinds of shit. Crazy shit, and people got hurt. I think there was a woman that got killed up in there. Police officers hurt and everything, building damaged and everything, and then they reach out for the public because they're caught on tape, and they reaching out to the public and say, hey, do you know any of these people? Reaching out to the public. You know any of these people? If you know any of these people, we want to show you video. And if you know any of these people, can you report to us right away, because we are pressing charges on their asses. And people responded to that. People respond. Yeah, we know him. This, that, and the other. Yes, we do. We know them. And stuff, and responded to law enforcement or whatever, and stuff like that. And they was trying to go after Trump for that as well, because he's telling them to go over. If you tell your followers to go over to that building and speak your mind, that's what he told. Go over to the Capitol building and speak your mind. They spoke their mind all right when they got over there. They spoke their mind all right. They outside and inside the building. They spoke their mind, all right, and shit like that, and stuff like that. And they were going after Trump for that. He abandoned those followers very quickly. Thanks for going over the Capitol building, tearing that shit up, but I'm getting ghosts. See you later, bye. And shit like that, because then they're looking at him and saying, hey, you had something to do with it. You told them to go over there. You had something to do with that. And shit like that. And he said, hey, I didn't go up in that building. And shit like that. But he's telling them to go the fuck over there. Like, and shit like that. And anytime you tell them to go, and people get those followers. Let's talk about those damn followers. People, the radio people and TV and whoever, and music and TV, if they got followers, and if they want them to do something, look, can you show up, my fans, could you show up at a specific place, because I'm getting ready to do a press conference, and I want you to do something, and shit like that. and they get these followers on social media, or whatever. And he's taking down Trump videos. He has all these followers. So what? He's having them going to the Capitol building and all this old shit. Take that shit down. They took some they closed Donald Trump accounts. Because of what happened and all this old stuff, man. And they saying, hey, man, we don't have shit to do with that shit. And stuff like that. And these followers, all they got to get is those radio people and people in the public, and all they got to do is get a bunch of followers. All you got to do is go on social media and YouTube and Twitter and all those and Instagram and all this old bullshit and get a bunch of followers. And they'll probably do whatever you want them to do. Just say the word, and shit like that, and shit like that, and they take advantage of those damn followers. Can y'all come out and support me? I'm not too far away from the Capitol building, but come on out and support me. I'm going to make a press conference, and shit like that. And they go over there, and they have no idea what Trump had up his damn sleeve. Come on, let's go over to the Capitol building. Come on. He knows that they're over there. He knows that Biden has won the election, really, actually, but he's trying to see if they overturns it by the people in the Capitol building. It was something that they wanted. They was looking at to see if they would overturn, and Trump realized that they wasn't going to do that. Come on, followers. Come on. Let's go over to the Capitol building, baby. Come on, let's tear that shit up. Come on. Come on. They doesn't know what he got up his fucking sleeve. But hey, come on. Let's go right over to the Capitol building. And I want you to speak your mind. You know what the fuck I mean. He doesn't say, he said speak your mind, right? But he knows that the camera is sitting on him. He knows he can't say tear that damn building up. Come on, let's go over there and tear that damn building up. Come on, and the people in it. He can't say that because the camera is on him. But what he says is, come on. Let's go over there and speak your mind. And I think they read through the damn lines. That's why they went over there and tore that damn building up over there. And people got hurt, killed, whatever. And videotaped. And shit like that. And stuff like that. And reaching out for the public to find out, can they identify any of these people and shit like that. Because anybody could get a bunch of followers and go and go and terrorize any state building, any building, as long as they got a bunch of followers. Anybody could do that, And I think that they want to send a message. Because a lot of people, somebody just was acquitted. They said somebody was acquitted. One of the people that were arrested, whatever, he was acquitted. But some of them in prison. And I think they want to send a message to all those people that get a bunch of followers and think they're going to just run and do the fuck they want to do just because they got a public figure that's saying, hey, come on, let's go over and terrorize the building. Come on, and shit like that. And I think they want to send a message to people that want to do that. You're going to prison if you go do that. You know. But one thing about Trump, and I'm gonna just say this, right? And I'm not, I don't have anything against Trump, but just knowing Trump throughout the years, just seeing him on TV and shit like that, just seeing him on TV in all different types of ways, you know, before he was president. Trump said what the fuck he wanted to say, man. And he didn't care if he hurt people's feelings or anything like that. And because he said what he wanted to say, because he was working for himself. Like, say if like Whoopi Goldberg, if he was working at a company or whatever, he couldn't say what the fuck he wanted to say. Because they'll say, hey, you can't say this and you can't say, or we'll fire you. But since Trump owned his own business, he can say what the fuck he wants. And he didn't care who he hurts or anything like that, man. Throughout the years, and shit, Trump always been like that. He, you know, and the people that was, while he was president, the guy said that he kept the coronavirus from the public. He said that they were trying to get him to stop saying shit over the airwaves, because Trump said, what the fuck you, even as president, he said that they was trying to get him to stop saying shit that make him look good in the public. He would say all kinds of crazy shit. And Trump has always been like that, even before presidency. I don't think that it changed him whatsoever, being president. Like, it didn't change him when it came to that. He didn't care if he was president or not. He still wanted to act the same way. You know? And shit like that. And some people like that negative shit. You know, being negative all the time, this, that, and the other. Some people like that. And you know, and shit like that. But I remember he had you know, that show that he did, he had a TV show, and he would always say, "You're fired." That show. Well, Keisha Knight Pulliam was on there, of the Cosby Show. Rudy of the Cosby Show. She was on that show, and Cosby was going through all the sexual assault stuff, and he wanted her to go and ask Cosby about the sexual assault, and wanted her, because she was on that show, she was on his show, Trump show, he wanted her to go and ask Cosby and get information from Cosby and bring it back to the show and discuss it. She said, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not ruining my," even though the sexual assault stuff was out there about Cosby. She said, "Hey, I'm not ruining my relationship with him because you want information about him and wanted me to come and talk about it on the show. I'm not doing that." And he fired her. Like that. And he fired her from the show because she refused to do it. You know, and shit like that. I mean, crazy shit. There's some things that's off limits, man. And he wanted her to ruin the relationship between her and Cosby, because he wanted information from Cosby, wanted her to get information from Cosby so they can come back and discuss it on the show. She said, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." And he fired her. You know, shit like that. He would say all kinds of crazy shit in the public for years. It didn't change Trump when he got president. It change anything that he wanted to say, man. Because he came president. And he was always his own, you know, he was always, I mean, he didn't work for anybody. He was always his boss. So anything that he wanted to say, he could say it. Like, because no one was saying, hey, Trump, you can't say this. You know, like that. No one was saying that because he was his own boss. But I think Twitter started dragging and closing his damn accounts. You know, he wasn't in control of Twitter. But again, because he was his own boss for years, Trump said what the fuck he wanted to say in the public. Like, and he didn't care. I mean, like, he just didn't care. I mean, long as, you know, I imagine that Trump had a lot of followers, you know, and shit like that was emptying their purses at his casinos and shit like that, emptying their wallet, purses, and so he had a lot of followers, you know, and shit like that were emptying their purses and wallets at his casino, you know, and shit like that, you know, like that. I remember seeing a divorce quote one time. She said Donald Trump is her husband. That casino. That casino was her husband, and Donald Trump owned it. You know, and shit like that. I imagine that he had a bunch of followers from those casinos that emptying their wallets every week. You know, and shit like that. No. But again, you know, yeah. But again, he always said what he wanted to say, and I think those followers, I think those followers need to look at what they're doing, man. When they pick people to listen to or whatever. You know, and stuff like that. When you go on a lot of places and stuff, and then, you know, they become the person follower or whatever, and it's this and that and this shit. And they better watch what they're doing, man. Because they will abandon them when all the shit that they do. And Donald Trump abandoned his followers. He abandoned when they was looking at his ass, you know, trying to see if they can bring some damn charges against his ass. He abandoned those damn followers. He abandoned them. Like, and I didn't see him calling up the police department or the court system saying, hey, you got my people in prison. Let my people go. I don't think he did that. You know, though, my followers, let my people go. Do you see him calling them up and saying that? Those same followers that went to the Capitol building, those ones. Is he calling up the police department and that prison and say, hey, let my people go? My followers, let them go. You know, I don't see him saying any of that. He abandoned their asses. Donald Trump abandoned those followers. Them same ones that helped him. He abandoned them. If that doesn't send a message to those people who are followers, and wherever they may be, on radio, TV, whatever, internet, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and you get and you want to follow those politicians or anybody else, you better make sure they're gonna be there for you for whatever you tell them to do. Because when the law is looking at their asses, they're gonna abandon you and shit like that. He certainly abandoned them, man. And they probably sitting in prison, you know, wishing they never did and shit like that. And he's on the campaign trail trying to run for 2024, you know, and shit like that. And forgot all about those followers. He forgot all about those followers, man. You know, like that. You know, he, you know, once the damage was done, he abandoned their asses. Well done, and took off, man. You succeeded now. I guess I'll go now. You know, shit like that. He abandoned those damn followers. Once they did his dirty fucking work, he abandoned their asses. You know, shit like that. They better watch out who they get as, you know, whatever, those followers. They better watch what they asking them to do. And shit like that. You know, they the ones that getting in trouble, not that person. He'll abandon their asses and act like he don't even know them. You know, shit like that. I think that's wrong, man. I mean, you know, because the thing is that I don't know. You know, when I look at presidency stuff, and if you look at Hillary Clinton, man, she didn't do all that shit, man. You know, and she ran twice. She didn't claim this election was stolen. You know, she ain't say none of that shit, man. She just accepted that she fucking lost. I mean, she didn't want to lose, but hey, man, a lot of them just walk away, man, because all they can do is say whatever they want to say. The presidents say whatever they want to say. That's running. Say whatever they want to say. And then it's up to the public with the votes. That's it. All they do is make their speech, and then the public votes. And whatever happens with that, they have no control over. You know, like that. And a lot of them just, at that point, walks away. If they lose, they just walk away, man. But not Donald Trump. Not him, man. You know, he said, and Hillary lost twice. She didn't go through all that, man. And she lost twice. You can imagine how she must have felt, but still, man, she didn't say, hey, this election was stolen, man. You know, she ain't say none of that, man. She just, you know, she just chalked it up as a loss, man. Both times. She just chalked them losses as losses, man. Even though it was a tough pill to swallow, but hey, she didn't go on a campaign, a trail of blame game and all this old stuff. She ain't do that, man. She didn't do that, you know. You know, she didn't do that. And because you can't force the public to vote for you. I don't give a shit who you with. They gonna vote. They gonna vote for who they want anyway. You have nothing to do with that. I mean, like, you know, with the decision, you can't change that. Like, I don't care how many speeches you make, man. and Biden did less speeches. I mean, he did speeches from time to time. He didn't do as much as Trump did, and Trump still lost. You know, but it doesn't matter how many speeches you make and this, that, and the other. You can't get the public to vote for you, man. You can't force them to choose you. You can't. I don't care how many speeches you make. You know, that's just like telling the jury to, you know, acquit me or found me guilty, but I want you to acquit me, and stuff like that's like telling them that. And they say, hey, no, we found your ass guilty, and shit like that. You can't force the jury to make a decision that they doesn't want. You can't get the public to choose the vote for you when they doesn't want to. You can't do that. And I think that's why people who run walks away, man. They just make their speech, and and now it's up to the votes, and that's it, man. But now Donald Trump, he goes on a trail of the blame game, man. And shit like that, man. And he's telling the public that y'all made a mistake. That's what he's telling the public. I want to recount. Wait a minute. Are you telling the public that they made a mistake? And I think that's, I think that's what he was telling the public. Like, I want to recount. And, I don't believe this. I should have won. And I should have never lost. I think the public made a mistake. And shit like that. He's telling them that they made a mistake because he wants a recount, and he doesn't believe that he lost, and he's telling them that they made a mistake, and telling the public that they made a mistake. He's telling the public that they made. He doesn't come out and say it like that. He says that I want a recount, like he doesn't believe he lost. And that the public made a mistake. I mean, that's what he is saying, man. And I don't think he really accepted that loss, man. And he keeps saying, that he won 2 times and shit like that. No, you didn't, man. You only won 1 time. And people question that. People question that. It didn't have anything to do with Russia and this, that, and the other. People questioning that. It's ironic that when he ran up against a woman, he won. But when he ran up against a man, he lost. Like, when he ran up against a woman, ran for presidency, up against a woman, Hillary Clinton, he won. But when he ran up against Biden, he lost. He ran up against another man, he lost. And, you can look at that and say, hey, and it makes you wonder, like, because then nobody might want Hillary to win, and shit like that, a woman to win, like that. But again, man, again, I don't know if it was stolen. I just know that he didn't prove it was stolen. I don't know if it was stolen. The election, the 2020, was stolen. I don't know if it was that. I just know he didn't prove it. And that's all you can say, man. Because I don't know if what he's saying is true or false. I don't know. I just know he didn't prove it. Like that. Because when he went to courts and all that, if that's the case, then they probably would say, hey, you're right, Trump, it's overturned, and shit like that. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. But I don't know. But again, I think that the one thing about that, man, is that you can't go in there think you're gonna win. You can't. I don't care who you is, man. You can't go into any election, and think you're gonna win like that. You either gonna win or lose. You know, you already know that. You know, like that. It's not you're going to win. You know, like that. You either gonna win or lose, and you know that going into the election. And you're not guaranteed you're gonna win. You know, like that. And I think that you know, I think Trump, I think he need to leave that S on his chest at the front door, like he's Superman. I think he should have left that at his front door when he was running for election, because you're not guaranteed you're going to win. I don't give a shit who you is. And with Obama was smart. Obama knew not to get no African American woman or man running with him. He just knew that. He wasn't going to fucking win. He got Biden to run with him. But if he had to pick an African American female or male, I don't think Biden would have won. I mean, Obama would have won. Obama was smart. He knew. He knew that he wasn't going to win if he had to pick the African American woman or African American male to run as vice president. He wasn't going to win. He knew to pick a white male. And he picked Biden and he won. But again, man, when they played it, those type of games, man, but you can't go in there and think you're gonna win. I don't give a shit who you is and stuff like that. And I think Trump ego was crushed, man. And because I think because he ran up against an older guy and shit like that, and he's not really that much younger than Biden, but you can't go in there and think you're gonna win, man. You have to need that ego at the front door, man. And stuff like that. And I think his ego was crushed when he lost. But again, you can't go in. I think you should have some type of self-esteem if you're gonna run to. But you can't go in there and think you're gonna win, and all this so crazy shit, man. Because the public came back and didn't choose him. And I imagine that ego was crushed, man. But that's why I say you need to leave that ego at the front door. I mean, his front door. Leave it in the house. His house. That ego, leave it in the house. Before he ran for president. Right. Because, you can't. I don't give a shit who you is, man. Because the public can choose whoever they want, man. And it doesn't matter what you go out and say in those doggone speeches and all that old crazy, crappy stuff, man. They still might not choose you. I don't care what you say in those speeches. It doesn't matter what you say in those damn speeches. They still might not choose you. Like, And that's the reality of it, man. But I think he had that ego riding along with him, and stuff like that. And when they chose someone else, he got angry. He got angry. You know? He got angry. And you can't expect the public to, you know. That's why I say a lot of them, those presidency people, they walk away. They just say, okay, they may be hurt that they didn't win, but they doesn't go on a binge about, you know, it was stolen and this all, the crazy stuff. They doesn't do that. They say, okay, then, you know, it is what it is. The public chose who they wanted. And they just walk away at that point. They doesn't go on these binges, you know, saying it was stolen and all this old crazy stuff, man. They doesn't do that. Because then you're telling the public that you should have voted for me, you know, and shit like that. Then you telling the public you should have voted for me, you know, and shit like that. You made a mistake, you know, and shit like that. You can't tell the public who to vote for. I don't give a shit who you is. You can't do that. You know, you can't do that. You know, that's just like telling the jury, acquit me, you know, and shit like that. And they said, no, we found your ass guilty, you know, and shit like that. That's just like telling the jury, acquit me. And they said, no, we found the ass guilty, you know, and shit like that. You can't tell, you can't tell them what to do, man. You know, you can't, you know, you can't do that. As much as it may hurt the ego, but still you can't do that, man. I mean, you can't make, you know, make the public feel guilty for not voting for your ass. You can't do that. And then Trump, he said, oh, I won 2 elections. You know, shit like that. I mean, just telling the public this shit. He still can't accept he lost. He's still telling them that. Like, he's still telling them that. You know, and stuff like that. I, in a way, I feel sorry for him. I mean, you know, but it didn't stop him from going out and still making public and staying in the public. It didn't stop that. That ego is still riding along with him, you know, and stuff like that. That ego is still riding along with him. Like, yeah. And he doesn't, Trump doesn't care, man. He doesn't, Trump doesn't care, man. Yeah. You know, he's so brave that he'll run again. I mean, like, even if he lost, I mean, like he doesn't, Trump doesn't care, man. And he always been like that. He always been like that. And I don't, I mean, if that's the way he wants to be, that's the way he just is. And no one can change that. No one can change the way he is, except for him, with God's help. But again, you're not going to change him, man. You know, I don't give a shit if he didn't win, or he did win, and this, that, or what you got to say, and he's going to say what the fuck he wants to say, and he doesn't have to listen to anyone. Because he doesn't work for them. He doesn't work for anybody. And so anybody can say, hey, Trump, you can't say that. You know, he says, shit, yes, I can. You know, and shit like that. I mean, like, he doesn't care. He's always been like that. Like, in a way, I feel sorry for him because um, he probably can't be vulnerable to anyone. I'm not even sure with the wife and kids that he have. It's like a letdown. If he loses, he feel like that's a letdown. Like that's a letdown. Like he can't be vulnerable. Except like he lost, you know, and accept that that's what it is. Like, and he can't be vulnerable. He gotta always show that power stuff. That power stuff. Like, and I think he put up that front, you know, to always, you know, like he got that power. And then when he didn't have it, when he didn't have the power, when he lost, you know, he says it's stolen, and then he went on a tirade, you know, like that, because he's so used to being in control, like, and then when he lost, you know, he didn't, it didn't feel right to him, because he was always in control. Yeah, but I don't know. Again, when it's come to his companies and stuff like that, he can run that. But when it comes to the public, he can't. When it comes to the public, he can't run the public. He can run those people in those companies he has, but he can't run the public. He can't tell them what to do. Like, he can't tell the public what to do, man. He can tell those followers, and maybe that wife of his, but he can't tell the rest of the public what to do. And they certainly, he certainly didn't tell them what to do as far as that voting is concerned, because they sure did not vote for him. You know, and he went into a tirade because they didn't. He lost all that power. You know, like that. It's that power he used to have in running those companies. Do this, do that, do this, do that. I said do this, do that. If you doesn't do it, you're fired. You know, and shit like that. You're fired. You know, like that. And he can't fire the public. Like, he doesn't have control over the public. And he has control over those people that work for him. But he doesn't have control over the public. He's busy trying to get their votes. Now. Before 24 rolls around. That's why he out there making speeches. Too busy trying to get their votes. You know, shit like that. He's starting early. You know, shit like that. Because he know now that he can't control the public. But they sure didn't vote for his ass the last time. So he's out there trying to get their votes and starting early. You know, like that. Yeah. But hey. But I think you know, he better start getting vulnerable, man, and start. You know, I think he should start getting vulnerable with people, and not always be like a tirade all the time, man. I think he should get vulnerable. And it, you know what I mean? You know, I ain't saying with everything, not with everything and stuff like that, but he doesn't want to show the softer side of himself. Like he doesn't want to show that he doesn't have power. Like he always got to be in power and control. Like, and then when he doesn't, go off a tirade. Like